Across Egypt's sands, archaeologists have unearthed over 70 million cat mummies, a number roughly 10 times the country's peak human population. Can you even grasp a reverence so profound it led to mummifying millions upon millions of animals? These weren't just stray pets. They were considered living embodiments of Bastet, a major deity worshipped in Lower Egypt's city of Bubastis. Excavations keep revealing more, with one tomb at Beni Hassan alone holding over 300,000 cat mummies piled high. Think about dedicating an entire city's yearly population to a deity. Year after year for 500 years, that's the sheer scale of cat sacrifice. The domestic cat, Felis catus, proved invaluable, a skilled hunter safeguarding crucial grain stores from rodents and snakes, offering 3 vital benefits to an agrarian society. The number of burial sites is staggering too, with over 20 cat cemeteries discovered, each holding hundreds of thousands of these mummified felines. This wasn't a passing fad. The cat's elevated status persisted for over 2 millennia, stretching from the early dynastic period right through to Roman Egypt. Each individual cat was meticulously mummified, a detailed process involving careful linen wrapping and often decorative embellishments. With an estimated 70 million feline mummies, their sheer volume dwarfed ancient Egypt's entire human population, which peaked at around 7 million. Excavators found mummies spanning every life stage, from kittens mere days old to fully mature adults, each prepared for the afterlife with religious offerings. Accidentally killing a cat, any cat, could carry the death penalty. This law protected an estimated 300,000 individual cats residing within city limits alone. Cats were revered as living manifestations of Bastet, the goddess of home, fertility, and protection, known for her fierce yet nurturing nature. 15% of ancient Egypt's vital grain harvests, the very engine of its civilization, were lost annually to ravenous rats and mice. So why were cats, and not other animals, chosen for such sacred devotion, safeguarding Egypt's very sustenance? The answer lies in pure, unadulterated survival. Egypt's economy was built on agriculture, storing vast quantities of grain, which was a treasure trove for rodents. Domesticated cats, with their instinctual predatory prowess, offered a remarkably effective, natural solution. Evolution looked at these perfect tiny killers and whispered, "More. Give them more." A single cat can eliminate between 50 and 100 small rodents per year. Your average pest control service might manage 10. A cat does 10 times better. Without these feline hunters, ancient Egypt faced famine on an unimaginable scale. Their pest control literally saved millions of human lives, ensuring stable food for 3,000 years, far longer than any modern civilization has endured. This relentless efficiency against pests elevated the cat from a mere useful animal to a divine protector. It became a living symbol of prosperity and Bastet's boundless blessings. A single cat, weighing around 4 kilograms, could dispatch up to 3,000 mice and rats annually from a typical granary. Now imagine the impact. With over 200,000 granaries across the empire, their collective efforts saved millions of tons of grain from utter destruction. Before cats, rodent infestations could ruin up to 20% of harvested grain. That's catastrophic for a civilization dependent on every last kernel. Their superior night vision, 6 times better than ours, allowed them to hunt rodents effectively even in the darkest corners of these vast storage rooms. "70 million mummified cats are stacked in ancient Egypt, a number that utterly dwarfs our global pet population today. This sheer scale shows how cats evolved culturally, becoming living vessels for the powerful goddess Bastet. Initially, Bastet was a fierce lioness embodying destruction and fire, but by 2500 BCE, her image softened into a domestic cat, reflecting their elevated status. Accidentally killing a cat meant a death sentence. Their lives were legally valued more than many humans. Excavations have uncovered over 300,000 cat statues and amulets, showing how common they were. Bubastis, Bastet's cult center, had a temple big enough for thousands of cats at once. Pilgrims offered mummified cats to seek protection and fertility, and some burial sites held millions of felines, outnumbering human graves. The demand was so huge that Egyptians started dedicated cat breeding programs to guarantee a steady supply for ritual sacrifice. The mummification process itself took up to 70 days, ensuring the cat's spirit could journey to the afterlife with Bastet. Across Egypt, over 20 Bastet temples became major pilgrimage destinations. Priests conducted daily rituals, leaving offerings and tiny cat sarcophagi in sacred spots. In fact, genetic studies now suggest that 80% of these mummified cats were deliberately bred within temple complexes, not just strays. That's a whole religious industry built around feline devotion. 70 million sacrifices. It's a staggering testament to the profound power Bastet and her cat avatars held in ancient Egypt. Ancient Egyptians sacrificed an estimated 70 million cats, a staggering testament to their sacred status. But how exactly did they prepare these beloved creatures for their sacred journey? Believing in an eternal life cycle, the embalming process began with carefully removing internal organs, then drying the body with natron salt for up to 70 days. Natron, a natural desiccant, drew out moisture, preserving delicate tissues over 35 days, about as long as a student spends on summer vacation. Internal organs, meticulously extracted, were separately preserved and placed into 4 ornate canopic jars, mirroring the rituals for pharaohs. Each mummified cat was then wrapped in up to 30 layers of linen bandages, ensuring its form remained intact for eternity. Your average human mummy used over 100, so this was a focused effort. Tiny amulets, sometimes numbering over 200, were strategically placed between linen layers for divine protection. Evolution said, overkill? Nah, just in case. Fragrant oils and resins, like frankincense, totaling 3 liters, were poured over the wrappings, sealing the mummified body with an otherworldly scent. Finally, the prepared cat mummy was placed into one of 3 types of decorated coffins, often crafted from wood or gilded cartonnage. This elaborate process, completed over 70 days, ensured the cat's ka, or life force, could recognize its badabi, enabling passage to the afterlife, a journey far longer than your longest commute. The belief in an animal afterlife was deeply embedded, with millions of feline souls destined for Bastet's divine realm. Imagine the cosmic litter box. While human mummification often involved removing the brain, cat mummies typically retain their small 1-ounce brains. Yours weighs about 48 ounces, making their brains a tiny fraction of ours. "70 million cat mummies unearthed from across Egypt. That's more than the entire population of France." Modern archaeology finally revealed the true, staggering scale of this feline devotion discovered deep within vast subterranean catacombs. At Saqqara alone, near Memphis, archaeologists uncovered the Bubastis, a sprawling burial complex holding hundreds of thousands. Imagine these 330-meter-long catacombs, packed floor to ceiling with mummified cats. That's longer than 3 football fields stacked high. Early estimates from just one Saqqara site showed over 192,000 cat mummies, many of them tragically sacrificed kittens. The sheer scale points to an industrial process. Cats were bred for sacrifice, then mass-produced in 3 distinct stages. Honestly, evolution must have looked at this and thought, well, this escalated quickly. From Bubastis to Saqqara, the total number is just overwhelming. The Ibis Catacomb at Tuna El Gebel alone yielded over 4 million mummified ibises and baboons alongside countless cats. These aren't just pets. They represent the ancient Egyptians' meticulous devotion. Each cat mummy embodies a prayer to Bastet for divine blessings, a plea etched into history. Modern micro-CT scans reveal surprising details. Many mummified individuals were deliberately sacrificed young cats, even kittens. Some show signs of disease, a cruel end. Picture processing millions of these tiny, revered bodies. Ancient workshops likely housed thousands of embalmers, working year-round for centuries. A production line for the divine. Analysis of bone structure confirms domesticated cat species. Felis catus, but also shows some African wildcat traits, indicating ancient hybridization. The sheer scale required dedicated cat breeding facilities across Egypt. Archaeologists estimate annual sacrifices numbered in the hundreds of thousands for centuries. This sustained devotion over 1,500 years showcases a unique human-animal relationship, unparalleled in the ancient world, shaping our understanding of symbiosis. 10,000 years ago in ancient Egypt, humans began their profound, defining bond with cats. What started as simple pest control evolved into reverence, ultimately shaping our deep affection for these independent creatures worldwide. Now, with over 600 million domestic cats globally, researchers like Carlos Driscoll have discovered they all descend from just 5 ancestral female Felis sylvestris libca. That's an incredibly narrow genetic bottleneck, meaning every purring pet you know shares a direct ancestor with those sacred Egyptian felines. These domesticated cats never really lost their wild edge. Their independence and predatory instincts remain sharply honed, a testament to 10 millennia of cunning survival. Today, the global cat industry, covering food, toys, and vet care, pulls in over $50 billion annually. Bastet would surely approve of this material devotion. Cat ownership actively reduces human stress and loneliness, with 85% of owners reporting improved mental well-being. While ancient Egyptians offered mummified sacrifices, modern owners spend an average of $1,200 per cat each year on food, toys, and healthcare. This unbroken bond, stretching back to around 7500 BCE when wildcats first approached human settlements, shows 9,500 years of co-evolution. Cats communicate with us through an astonishing range of vocalizations, including purrs that vibrate between 25 and 150 Hz, a frequency actually linked to bone regeneration. Despite millennia of domestication, the average house cat still performs hunting behaviors over 100 times a week, even if it's just a crumpled paper ball. Creepy, right? Unlike dogs, cats largely self-domesticated over about 1,500 years, choosing human settlements for prey and slowly integrating into our homes. From Japan's Maneki Neko, beckoning good fortune to symbolic protectors in European folklore, cats represent a wild array of cultural meanings across the globe.